Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this tutorial today, I'm going to show you how to create this procedural steel tile texture with some distress in it for your personal projects. Before we get started, consider hitting that like button and subscribing. It really helps me out. So let's get started. Start off by going into the render properties panel and changing it from Eevee to cycles and CPU to GPU compute. I'm also going to lower my max samples from about 1000 to 100 and enable denoise. I'm going to delete this default cube and I'm going to add a plane. I'm going to scale that up quite a bit and I'm going to subdivide it several times until I have until about that. I'd say about 6 or 7-ish times. And then I'm going to tab out and go right into the shading panel. I'm going to click new where we start up with our nodes. And I'm going to begin by adding a brick texture. And I'm going to bring that way over here. And I'm going to connect that color to the color on the base color of the principal BSDF. And I have the Node Wrangler add-on enabled, and I'm going to hold down Control T with the brick texture selected, which is going to bring up the texture coordinate and mapping nodes. I'm going to plug the object into the vector right here. Now I'm just going to make some quick changes to the brick texture while I'm here. I'm going to change the scale to 1. I'm going to change the mortar size to 0.01. I'm going to change the mortar smooth right here. I'll extend that so you can see things a little bit better. I'm going to change the mortar smooth to 1. I'm going to change the bias by nothing. It's just going to leave it alone. And I'm going to change the brick width, not at all, once again. And I'm also going to just do a little adjustment to this row height by making it 0.05, just like that. So it's just a little bit more dense. So we have a little bit more of a dense tiling on this plane right here. So I'm just going to drag these out just a little bit right here. And now I'm going to add a noise texture. I'm going to bring that right below the brick texture right here and connect the vector of the mapping node to the vector of the noise texture right there. And I'm going to now add a color ramp, which is going to drive the noise texture. And I'm going to connect the factor right there. And I'm going to now want to mix these colors together. So I'm going to do that by holding Shift and pressing A and typing in mix color. And select the one right here up top. And connect the color ramp to color B. And that's just what we get so far. Now, it's not looking really metallic, and that's because we have not cranked the metallic all the way to that level and changed the roughness to 0.1. That's going to make things look a little bit more shiny and metallic thus far. So what we want to do here is now I'm going to just adjust our noise texture just a little bit. I want to bring the black over, and I want to bring the white over to about here-ish. I feel like, yeah, that's a pretty good spot, right about there. So you can see the black sliders are right around the B, and the white sliders right around here. Now we have to make some changes to the texture of the noise texture. So I'm going to change the scale to about 65. And I'm going to crank the detail all the way to 15. And I'm going to leave all the other settings alone just where they are. So now what we want to do is we want to add some bump nodes in here to give this texture a lot more depth. So I'm going to hold Shift and press A, and I'm going to type in bump, and I'm going to put this bump node right here, and I'm going to connect the factor of the brick texture to the height of this bump node. And I'm going to connect the normal to the normal on the principal BSDF. And it's kind of a minor shift. We're going to make some changes here, and you're going to see a lot more action here in just a second. So I want to add another bump node because we want to incorporate the noise texture into its own bump node. So what we want to do here is with the first bump node's normal node, we want to connect that to that normal, and this one to the principal BSDF normal. And then we're going to take the color, and we're going to, the color from the noise texture, and we're going to connect that to the height of our second bump node. And we'll see that we kind of have a lot going on. I'm going to lower the strength right here to 0.3. And that is definitely going to just smooth it out a little bit. Now, at this point is when we're about ready for our displacement node. Now it's really important now to go under the material properties node right here, or the material properties panel, sorry, and we're going to scroll down to settings, and we want to change it from bump only under displacement to displacement and bump. Now we can add our displacement right there. And what we want to do is take the color from the brick texture and plug that into the height. And then we take the displacement node and we connect it to the displacement on the material output right there. And we already see that we definitely have like a much more defined brick tile texture. While the noise is still there, it is still sort of influencing. It's giving a little bit of that sort of distressed look to it, sort of a weathered look. Now I want to come down here into the scale and I want to change it. I just want to increase it a little bit. I'm going to change it to 0.03. It just makes it a little bit more, just a little bit more pronounced. I like that. So let's just come back into the layout view mode and we'll just turn into we'll check our render. And I want to make this light a bit more, I want to show off a little bit more of the actual, texture. So I'm going to increase the power to about 3000 and I'm going to increase the size to about, I'd say, let's just do 10 by 10. On the X and Y under the light right here. We'll tab it into camera view mode, sort of see what we're looking at. And I want to just change the position of the light right here. I'll move the camera just a tiny bit. Yeah, so we can actually see what's going on. I'm going to duplicate the light now too. So that way we just can, it's just a little bit brighter. So things are a little bit more visible. Yeah, that's a bit better. So let's now add a UV sphere to it so we can just see how everything looks with that. So I'm going to tab into that mode, tab into just regular mode, and just add a UV sphere, bring it a little bit closer to the camera. And I'm going to shade smooth, and I'm going to subdivide it. Now with it selected, I'm just going to go under the material properties panel right here, and I'm going to select material 1. And I'm going to check it under rendered view mode. And I'm going to rotate that on the X-axis just so it seems a little bit more, I don't know, I just like the way that looks a little bit more. And when you duplicate that texture and place it into the UV sphere, you'll notice that under the displacement settings, it already changes displacement and bump for you. So yeah, that's it. You are done. If you need to use this particular texture in like a sci-fi project, maybe you have like a survival horror sci-fi project, something like that going on, let me know in the comments because that would be really, really cool. So yeah, I hope you guys learned something. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Yeah, leave me a like, consider subscribing, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of everything and what you're going to do with this sort of texture. So yeah. Have a good one and take it easy out there. Create something cool.